Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great morning. The sun's shining, the sky's blue, the birds are chirping, the squirrels are frolicking. It's just, how are you?
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. It's a happy day.
Yeah, it is.
Frolicking.
Um, Let me get rid of that. I hope everybody's having a good morning. Let's see who's out in the chat. I know Mr. Bumcrack's in here. Good morning, Mr. Bumcrack. Good morning, Beth, reseller rowboat. Good morning, Lag. I think Lag is just his initials. His name was Lawrence Albert Gorham. Uh, you're frolicking right now. Well, that's good. So you got a lot going out today, Todd?
I have 7 orders for $250. So, good solid sales day yesterday.
I've got 3 going out for 179.29 plus shipping.
That Magnolite pan I showed yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
I listed it yesterday. It sold yesterday.
Cool.
$100 bill.
See, y'all
So
be looking for Magnolite pots. uh,
they're pretty easy to spot. They're just big old aluminum, solid, thick aluminum.
and they're not shiny aluminum, are they? They're the good
Well,
morning, Major West.
they're supposed to be shiny, but the most of the ones you find have a natural patina to them.
Right.
Um,
Good morning, Texas Bandit.
Cookies Magnolites are off limits. uh,
Oh, Lord have mercy. One of my favorite, speaking of cookies, one of my favorite uh, convenience store snack foods is a thing that we have out here called French sweeties. They're a pastry, and they're not real sweet. And I got one yesterday afternoon, and I told Roberta, here, try this because I don't think you've ever had one before. And she tasted a little bit of it. Good morning, Junk Trader. And she said, it tastes like the Hawaiian rolls with icing. And I'm like, well, now that you mention it, it does. I like it because it's not real sweet. So I told Roberta, I said, well, I can buy a pack of Hawaiian rolls for the price of that one there. We were talking about cookies. Okay, you know how that goes. Anyway, topic of conversation today. I was watching some other YouTube videos, had them playing in the background yesterday, and everybody was talking about their backstock, death pile as it's commonly called. And the only reason I would think that it would be called a death pile is because it's piled so high it's liable to fall on you and kill you, which brings about a whole another problem other than that you're not listing. So my question is to people is, how big is your back stock? I've got about 100 SKUs for about 1,000 products because a lot of them are the SKUs are multiples. some of them all be. It's like small bike parts all sell as a lot. So fess up, people. What's your back stock looking like? Your death pile. And why is it so big if it's big? I mean, some people like Bridget, she doesn't rest until she's got everything that she's got listed.
Well, I have a very large death pile. And a lot of it is items that have to be tested or put a little repair on it or cleaning. Like I put out a video a couple of days ago about doing a little repair on a typewriter, which I did, and it's all good. But it took 2 hours to do.
Right.
But I have another one. It needs the same repair, which I haven't started yet. But the first typewriter, I listed it for $200. I paid $5 for it. So, I don't know. Was the 2 hours time worth it? And because I spent 2 hours on that, I had 2 hours less of listing other stuff. So, yeah, I get a lot of stuff in my death pile that sits for a long time. I got a lot of stuff like that. I got a VCR I need to test. I've got a cassette deck I need to test. I've got a stereo and a subwoofer I need to test. And they all take up space, but they also take time. But once you take the time, it's worth it. I mean,
Right.
I usually make really good money with it. So,
Why haven't you done it? And
because
that's a question. That's a question for everybody. Why haven't you done it? Why haven't I list? You know, back in high school, I mean, in grammar school, elementary school for you youngsters, um, I had a teacher that always said, "You never point at somebody and accuse somebody because there's three fingers pointing back at you." So, I'm not just pointing my fingers. I'm just asking a question. You know, why it's sitting still? Me, it's just laziness, and I just don't want to have to dig through it and sort it all back out again. But you've got big things, Todd. Big bucks. You've got you've got expensive arm candy to have to keep up with. Keep up.
yeah.
Good
Hey,
morning, Beth.
hey, Beth.
Good morning. I just
So,
spoke up to an angry customer, so I'm a little.
well, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
She wants to know why her 20% off coupon wouldn't apply. It's because she made offers. Because she doesn't read. And it even says it on my coupon. Buy it now, price only.
So, did you send her an offer for the full asking the price she wanted?
No, she'd already bought them.
Oh,
But she got a good deal, and I'm waiting to ship them. I was going to ship them right when I got up, and now I don't know whether to ship them or not. So,
well, if she paid for it, you got to ship it.
no, I don't. Not if she cancels it. If she didn't like the price, but she shouldn't have.
Okay.
I don't want any more return. I don't want any returns. I just want
So
to
just
know: do you want this at the price
yeah,
you offered me, or do you want me to cancel? She
just
got a good deal. Like one of the bathing suits, I know she got at least 20% off, and the other one, I don't know. I think she got it for a little bit less. People don't read. I don't understand why people don't read.
so just message him and say, hey, would you like to cancel?
Yeah, I
Or
did. I'm just waiting because I
Oh,
have
well,
my
that's
mail
all you can do.
carriers. My mail carrier's on vacation for 2 weeks, and he's the only reliable person I have to pick up mail. And I already have like 6 missing packages right now. So I need to ship it by tomorrow. Like it has to have the scan, and if they don't show up today, I only got one more day. So
Good
uh,
morning, Mary King.
well, I can see the chat. Hey, Anissa. Hey, Lag. Lag, thanks for coming in yesterday and harassing me. Hey, Mr. Sadie.
Oh, Mr. Sadie came in. Sorry, I was
No, Lag
listening.
came in, and Lag.
Uh,
I never know what to do about Lag because I've learned in the past he likes to fool me. And yesterday he told me he made a sale, and on my show you get a song if you make a sale, and I didn't know whether he was telling the truth or not, or he just wanted to get a song.
First of all, I like the blonde hair. It looks really good on you.
Thank you.
Um, we were talking about backstock, um,
Hmm.
death pile, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Do you have a big death pile?
I have
Backstock.
0. In fact, I don't have enough for the week because I didn't go thrifting Tuesday. I have 4 appliances to part out in my car, and that's it. And then I'm stuck. I don't do death piles.
Oh, I do.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I do have 10 blankets that I got from my mother-in-law's house, but I haven't listed blankets in years, and I'm petrified. Um, and they've been sitting in there, and if I get desperate enough, I'm gonna go listen. But I'm petrified. They're huge, and I have to go look for spots, and I gotta measure them, and I gotta stage them, and then I gotta store them. I've been
Yeah, that's
neglecting.
the thing with most of the things in my death pile is just work waiting to happen. And I resell about 4 hours a day and then I'm done. I'm not gonna kill myself just because I have more stock than I have listed. So
Hi, Mr. Sadie. How are you?
as long as I don't run out of room is my thing.
And this, I hope you get the AC repaired because
Saturday,
I
Gwen
could go
and
to the laundromat.
Gwen and I went to the auction to pick up my winnings, and she said, you need to quit buying because you're about out of room to put stuff.
Todd, t- list your stuff. Lag wants me to tell you.
Uh, I do list my stuff. I got up like 9 or 10 listings yesterday. Um,
Yeah, so Tom,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm excited to see you again. And we are doing a roper romp at Harris Casino.
what? You went kind of garbly on the end there.
I said we are doing a roper romp at Harris Casino in North Carolina, and I was wondering if Roberta's interested. Everyone dresses up like Mrs. Roper from Three's Company, and Barry's dressing up as Mr. Roper.
Mm, I don't know. I'll have to see what's going on. If well, I'll have to look at the exact dates and see what's going on that week. Because we have a wedding sometime during September while you're here, so I'll just have to see. Which, if it's the day of the wedding, will be closer to casino. I mean to Harris than here. Beard, you can come in if you want to. Anybody can.
Mrs.
Um,
Roper was funny in that show.
you're in.
Yeah, Barry's already bought my moo for me. He's supposed to be shipping it so I can get my accessories.
Yeah, she always wore moo didn't she?
Mhm. Okay, this lady's decided she wants these bathing suits.
Um, I sold some bathing suits last week. Little boy's bathing suit,
Mhm.
and good morning.
Good morning, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was looking at this like Perkyville. Let me look real closely to see who that is. Um,
Oh, we don't need no young punks on this show, Tom. You need to boot Doug out of here.
well,
He's just
he
going to
does,
be a nuisance.
he doesn't have any. No, if that was the case, Lag would have been long gone. um, apparently he's one of these go getters, which they're young and they can get by. I don't. Y'all don't have it. Do y'all have children?
No, I already asked that question because I was being a rude, nosy person.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a reason why because they're young. Even if they had children, they're young. They can list. He can work his job. He can list for 10 hours a day, take care of the kids, and still get by on 3 hours of sleep.
You
Like
know
you did
what?
when you were young.
Well, first off, we're not that young, so that's kind of you to say. But I mean, I wake up with my backaches now, where the youthful vigor is actually long the rearview mirror. But sometimes you just got to power through.
Right. Um,
But y'all are hilarious. I'm actually really glad to be able to just hop on with you guys and say hello real quick.
well, that's good. I mean, you're welcome anytime.
Much appreciated.
Anybody's welcome. I mean, everybody's welcome. I don't say anybody's welcome. We need to know them a little bit before we let them in because I don't want to pull a dadgum Sally and have somebody's private showing on the
Or
on
David
my show.
Jeffers. Were you on David Jeffers' show that night that the naked midgets came out?
No,
I couldn't get that out of my head for like 2 years. It was awful. It
thank
was
you,
so
Jen.
awful.
So, are you suggesting Doug to go naked right now? Is that what you're saying?
Me?
Uh, yeah, I'll give a solid pass on that one there, Todd.
Okay, good.
Um,
Where's your lovely wife there, Perkyville?
Oh, she's still sleeping. It is only like 6:15.
Come on, Ro, get up.
Yeah.
I just subscribed to you yesterday or the day before.
To me?
Yes,
Oh man, well that's
but
sweet.
I
Well,
don't know your first name.
Doug,
nope.
Okay, you're Doug.
Dougie.
You're the one they. Okay.
Yeah, first name Perky, last name Ville.
Are
It's
you in
it's right there in my
Canada?
name. You can't
Are
see it
you
on the
in
screen.
Canada?
no, he's in California.
Oh, he's in California. Are you the Dougie that Josh is talking about a lot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dougie and Scott. They both like to call me Dougie, which is totally
Okay.
fine by me. I have said it before. I don't know if any of y'all have seen it, but I'm probably like the most nicknamed person alive. And so, like, depending on which group I'm with, I've got all these different nicknames and everything, and it's like it just happens. So,
Am I the
but yeah,
first
but
one to
Dougie,
call you Perky?
yeah, Perky's a new one.
Am I
That's
the
the
first
person
one
who
to call
never
you
come up.
Perky?
Yeah, I don't
They're
know. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just maybe I just got the California perkiness. I don't know because like
they are
for all of us
so
around here.
cute. They're so cute. I expect little unicorns to go frolicking behind them, and you
I
know,
know. I expect
Man,
the,
like a commercial break, like a sitcom, or maybe a laugh track in the back, like a sitcom when y'all are
she
on.
looks at him, and I just expect to see all those little poop, 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 those little hearts popping up over her head.
hey
They're
man,
so
again, I
cute.
work I work home health and hospice 9 hours a day for a typical day. You have to get a little bit Patch Adams, otherwise you start to go a little crazy. So you got to go full tilt on the looking at the joy in life, and then in my off time, man, it's all like, it's like joy on the go. You gotta find the positivity and everything, and so it actually it actually really does help you with a full on zest for life sometimes for sure.
Now, do you go out and work with clients, or are you like in a management position for
Boy,
home?
how deep you want to go with this, Tom? Is this an interview? Am I getting interviewed right now,
No, no, no.
Tom?
I'm just curious because I mean, I've had when my dad was before you came involved in our little group, several years ago, my dad got real bad, and we had to have home care hospice come in,
Mhm.
and I don't know how. And if that's what you, if you do the with clients, I don't know how y'all maintain y'all's self, because it just seems like it'd be depressing. One thing, every day is a different client, and it's a different situation.
You
And
know,
as for those that don't know, when you go on hospice, normally your days have been numbered. So it's
yeah,
just
boy. I mean, I like how we're talking shop. I'm like, I'm about to do this for 9 hours after I leave you guys. Like, it's just really funny. But no, it's for me on the hospice side. So actually, what I do primarily, so I work for a company that provides software that helps all the companies that actually work with patients to understand how they're performing compared to the government regulations and all of that stuff. And so, what's kind of interesting is like I'm like the emotional support person for a lot of individuals that'll call in. I mean, I've had individuals having a rough day that they call in to learn about some of the reports that we provide, and we end up just having a conversation for like an hour and a half where they're just crying and letting it all out and everything. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, my primary role is actually to just um, educate on how to best use our reports and everything to achieve like the top status for your organization. So, I help a lot of home health providers and hospice providers to look at their whole process and go from being whatever star level they're at, like 1, 2, or 3, and get up to being a 5-star organization, if that's their goal and their determination.
right.
So I look at an organization now, and it's funny. Like you could throw me into a home health provider or a hospice, and we could have a half an hour conversation, and I could be like, okay, here's what I'm seeing is, even if you're doing the work for the patient, here's how you're not telling the government that you're doing it right. And so they're not going to believe you. They're going to give you poor scores. And now in so many aspects, how you're actually performing in regards to on the home health side, patient care, patient satisfaction, and on the hospice side, it's patient care, but then also caregiver support. For the loved one nearest to that patient. What is the kind of support that you're providing to those individuals? So much of that now is directly tied to the revenue that you receive. What is hard is that there's a lot of really caring organizations out there that they're doing the work, but they're not recording it properly, so the government doesn't believe them and they don't give them more money to keep growing and keep providing great care.
Right.
So all that stuff is kind of my primary work. For just the typical work day, that's what I get into is just saying, okay, here's how you could use our reports. We get super detailed, help break it down, and so organizations can see, is there a clinician, a case manager, is there a branch within our organization that needs help? Let's identify that, get them the education and process improvement that they need. So, but yeah, it's really cute though. I mean, I've had moments where somebody calls in because they saw that our company does something with home health and hospice, and it's just a sweet little old lady that is, has no family, is trying to find a hospice provider. And so it's really cool that we at least have knowledge to be like, hey, you know what, I'm going to stay on the phone with you, we're going to get you where you need to go and everything. And you really do get to see a lot of the best side of humanity in this kind of thing too. You see people being tough, and you see them at their most vulnerable. So after all that, I don't mean to go off on a
No,
on a
that's
little.
fine. I mean, you're one of our new friends. We're finding out a little more about you, and I find that kind of stuff. Being that I was in the situation where we relied on health, the hospice home health care type thing, um, for about 2 months before he passed away. And y'all probably they remember I was going to my parents' house every third night. My brothers and I were alternating with going to my dad's house, my mom and dad's house, so I could give my mom a break. We could give her mom a break at night. She could go down, she could lay down and sleep for a while, because my dad was blind, and he just, if she wasn't there, he wanted to know where she was at. So the girls that came in during the day and helped my mom, they were a godsend.
Mhm.
And so, anyway, it's interesting what you do. I find anybody's job's interesting. You know, I've drilled Mr. Sadie about his selling his vegetables, and
Well, you'll find for me, I'm a pretty open book. Like I'll try to avoid a lot of the sensitive subject stuff, and you know, but this certainly isn't for me. But I'll be uh, kind but honest with you. If we start to get into territory where I'm, you know, it's not something I'm interested in, then I'll be like, you know, I'm good. But that'll be about it. You know, I'm not much for making a fuss or anything. I'm a
right,
pretty straightforward guy. But when it comes to home health and hospice, though, it is an absolute passion of mine because, you know, also too, we see in the data, we see when an organization is not caring for patients,
right,
and you know, we've like when my grandfather was passing away. I mean, I got exposed to that whole world at a very young age, and I saw the effect that it had on my dad. And it's a world of difference between having a good one and a bad one when you've got care that you're receiving. So it's definitely something that I'm absolutely very passionate about. That people, you know, if you're on home health, let's get them back in the game. If you're on hospice, let's give them the most soft, gentle landing that we possibly can.
right,
And so, yeah, it's beautiful when you see these tough individuals get into home health and hospice, and the government regulations keep stacking up, and you know, people are getting more bitter and crustier, and you got the home health and hospice people that help them find a little more joy, get
right,
a little bit more fire in their system. I mean, it's amazing. A good hospice care organization can keep somebody in the game much longer with great quality of life, give the family more time to, you know, adjust to these changing circumstances. That's a beautiful thing to see in
right.
action. So yeah, so that's what I, you know, again, you talk about the endless positivity. It's, you know, it's one of the scariest things for any of us to have to take on. But when you see like the courage, when you see the determination of individuals that are working this role, it's like, you know what? It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. So yeah. Anyways, again, if you want to know a little bit, that's not even the full thing. I come from a very positive dad who grew up in a very rough household and everything. It's just I had a lot of circumstances around me where I had a lot of great examples of people that are like, you know what? Yeah, son, life's gonna be tough. You better learn to smile through it, or you're gonna be sitting in a sack of tears for a good long while. So
Yeah.
I love that spirit of just like, yeah, you knocked me down, but I'm coming back, and let's get going.
Kent, it should be motivational. It should be motivational to have all your affairs in order because they don't deal with just old people. These home care. You never know when your shit's going to hit the fan in your own household, and you know somebody needs it. You might need it. But anyway, our original conversation with Death Piles. Beth has none.
Seems like a
Todd
good
is
transition.
Todd is borderline hoarding. Even his wife is starting to tell him he needs to back up on the buying. How
Well,
about y'all?
she isn't just starting. She's been after me for like 8 years.
Uh, Doug,
That's okay.
his wife Gwen has her own business and she has her own office, and he starts talking about running running out of room for his merchandise. And that's, we've said, well, why don't you just go in there and get a corner of Gwen's office? And he's like, do you have a bedroom I can move into? Because she said if my stuff starts coming in her room, she's going to put him on the street. So, uh, it's the case. I saw where you had like a couple of you said black bags full of clothes.
Oh yeah, we got
That
like 30 of them right now. Thankfully, like for our home setup, that they're not really slowing us down. Like we don't use a garage for our car, but yeah, we've got about 30 black bags. Although we turn through those at a pretty good clip because we have to get it out because we get about every 2 weeks we get a couple calls from some estate sale relationships that we've set up, and they're like, but the key for us is they pretty much demand that when we get the call, we've got to be available. We got to drop what we're doing and come and get it right then. We're free extra labor for when they're running out of time and they don't have enough people to get a house cleared and they got tons of clothing. and they don't specialize in clothing. They give us a call and they say, oh, hey, it's here, but you got to come get it like right now. So thankfully with my work, in many cases, I've got a lot of flexibility where if I need to borrow an hour, I can go and make it up later, or I can just take the hour off. And we hop in our old wagon that's got 350,000 miles on her. We hit the road, we go, we load it up to the hilt with as many bags as we could fit, and then we roll it home, unpack it, and then the next day get ready to start sorting through it. So yeah, because we get so many loads so quickly, if we don't churn through it, we would bust at the seams within a couple weeks.
Right. So I'm going to assume for most people, we're just not listing. Is that the reason our piles are back stock? I think that sounds better. Our back stock is that's the retail phrase, is growing, ever growing, is because we're not listing. And when is too much? When do you have too much? And how do you start sorting out through it when you reach too much? Go ahead, Beth.
Well, when we bought this house, I made my wife a promise that I would not have any of my inventory or packing supplies in any living areas of our house. And I have pretty much stuck by that. And that has helped me keep my death pile down. Because I literally have nowhere to put. Like y'all saw me when I bought one day, I bought 9 machines, and I came home and I'm like, I have no place to put 9 machines. Like they had to stay in my car. And that's why my trunk is my first station. Things stay in the trunk until they're ready to be processed. So,
Doug, if you didn't know, Beth does lots of parts for machines, appliances, whatnot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um,
Well,
but
we
you
need some
sell a lot of
machine
clothes
parts
too,
for our
don't you,
washer.
Beth?
So.
and
Beth?
I mean that's really why I don't have a quote death pile now, because I have to stick by that rule. You know.
Todd would bust that rule on Thursdays
Oh,
alone.
yeah. Well, our house down the street in our dining room, it was just full of bubble wrap and envelopes and inventory, and then it went into the guest room, and then the guest room was where you could even sleep on the bed, and it was just awful. It just got away with me so fast. So I literally think to myself when I'm looking at something, can I store this for any length of time? You know,
Y'all don't be hard on Scott. When it comes time for Scott to be nice, he is. Look, his wife hasn't run him off, and he took care of her while she was so sick. You know, so of course he's got a little bit of niceness to him. We just don't deserve it, apparently. um,
Scott's one of those guys where if your car breaks down in the middle of the night, he will come get you, but you better know he's going to make fun of you the entire time for
that's
being on the road that
right.
late. And
That's
that's
right.
my kind of people right there. I love that. Like, yeah, you should be giving me a hard time. What am I doing out on the road at 2 a.m.?
A friend of mine, I mean, he's a grown adult, you know. He should have known better. He called me at 3 o'clock in the morning one time, and what's the first thing that pops in your mind when the phone rings at 3 o'clock in the morning? Who died?
Who died? Yeah.
Especially when you get to be in my age bracket, where all my friends and family are getting on up there. I don't want your. I don't want. I don't need any changes to my Medicare. I don't need to make any changes to my health care or my car
You're
insurance or
getting a
my.
call about someone dying, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, he called me because he didn't have. He was coming. He was working out of town. He was coming back to Charlotte. Instead of stopping at a hotel, he decided that he was going to drive on in. He had a flat tire and he didn't have a jack. And he called me and said, "Can you bring me a jack?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll be there." And I know why he didn't call his wife, because they had 3 small children at the time, and he didn't want to have to get those 3 kids out of bed and in the back seat of a car and blah 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 blah. So I got there, and I've got a floor jack, you know, like they use in a tire place, and
Yeah.
if you don't have one in your car and you change your own tires if it need to be, you need to go to Kmart, not Kmart, Walmart and get you one. So we were changing this tire, and he's like, "You haven't said anything," and I said, "Oh, it's coming. It's 2 o'clock
Yeah.
in the morning. I'm not fully awake right now." So we got his tire changed, and I followed him on in because he was running on one of those little spare tire, the little donut tires. So he, we got home. I followed him to his house, and then I went on home. Next day, I called him and I said, "I got a couple questions. One, where is your effing jack at? Two, have you found it or bought another one? And three, get rid of that damn donut tire and go spend about $300 and get you a full size tire to go on that damn car."
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know what happened to it. I think my father borrowed it. Yes, I'm going to go get one of those jacks like you've got. And three, I've talked to my tire man, and he's ordered me a tire and a rim. And he said, yeah, it's about $250 for that vehicle.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah, you got to have a full size. I mean, if you can manage it in your vehicle, go for it. Those little donut things, man, they're scarier than driving on the rim.
and nowadays you don't even have a spare tire.
Yeah, that's true. Huh?
They give you an inflator. Has anybody ever been? Surely Mr. Sadie has been going down the road and shredded a tire. That inflator ain't gonna do you a bit of difference. But anyway,
If there's no tire to inflate, what are you gonna do?
that's right. Do you, the for those that have Mount Olympus death piles, um, have you thought about like sorting through it and filling up a couple of boxes of stuff and offering it to your reseller friends at a reasonable price to get rid of your product, get you some cash in, because people are saying sales are not that good these days. And if they're having problems finding product, maybe help them out too. So, what's your thoughts on that? In the audience and in the panel, do you think about offloading your product? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so first, I think you have a different file, put everything to the back and work from the oldest first. And then a few months ago, when I had overstock, I sold reseller boxes and I sent people plus size women's clothing. I thought it was at a good price things that I knew were going to sell for me. And I made a little bit of money on it, not a lot, but they made sales and it got it out of my house.
Well,
So
I was listening to someone, one of the resellers, and they were talking about they were trying to get rid of their clothing pile, and they were using a poly bag for whatever item they were shipping, and they were like, "Oh, they're a 3X. What do I have in this pile over here that's 3X? This sort of
that's
looks
cool.
like the same thing." She said
Huh.
they would stuff it full, seal it up, slap a label. They'd make sure that the postage did not go above what the people had paid for, so they weren't losing money.
That's
But
cool.
they got people. She said she got messages from people saying, "Well, that was really nice, but why did you send me all this other stuff?" And she said, "Well, I want you to be a good customer, and blah blah blah." She didn't say because I was trying to get rid of my crap. But she said she went through a lot of stuff that she would never get listing. First of all, I don't sell clothes because I hate selling clothes. It's just too time consuming, and
Tom,
my
what do you
my
sell?
ADD does not go with it. But Doug, y'all sell a lot of clothes, don't you?
Oh yeah, that's we still consider ourselves everything sellers, but we definitely, I think if you were to look at we look at our metrics on eBay. According to eBay, our number one seller is clothing right now. Although during the pandemic, our number one seller was baseball cards, and we weren't that big on baseball at the time. Although we love it now, we got into it because we had to learn about all the players. Um, but yeah, so we during the pandemic, our number one seller was actually baseball cards, but now. Um, Kind of everything around that time though has been clothing primarily. Yeah. and mostly vintage at this point.
Mostly vintage.
And Tom, what do you sell?
I sell everything except clothes.
Everything except clothes.
Right now, I've got, like I said earlier, about 1,000 pieces of bicycle stuff. And most of them are like 10 of the same thing, so I've got like about 100 SKUs that I got to get listed. Um, so bicycle stuff. What I is going out went out this morning that I sold yesterday, but the day before that, I sold some coffee cups that I had had since I started selling on eBay. Somebody finally bought, and
Now, see, I wouldn't be able to keep something that long.
it's well, it's stuff. Well, they were cups from an amusement park in Pennsylvania that shut down like in the 50s,
Oh
and
wow.
so they were branded from that period, and the people that bought it, um, when they contacted me, said, "Could you ship them both together?" And I said, "Sure thing." And but she said that her parents used to take her as a child to that amusement park. It was the first amusement park she ever went to. And if it's on, apparently it's on YouTube, and it's videos where it's all falling down and decaying and everything like that. But I mean, once it stuff like that, I know somebody sooner or later will buy because it's for a specific niche. People are not going to drink out of these things, and they'll probably end up back at the fleet at the Goodwill after this person dies. But I mean, my son has friends that collects all kinds of stuff from amusement parks that has gone out of business. So, matter of fact, Beth, they've got They got a pennant from Land of Oz when it was open. Since you'll be coming back out here this year. Um,
You got it. We're dressing up this year as the characters.
so, does anybody try to off-sell their extra stuff to other people?
Is it my turn to answer?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
You have to raise your hand, Todd. You're a teacher. You should know that.
That's right.
Well, y'all just kept talking, so I couldn't get a word in
Well,
edgewise.
jump in, Todd. By now, if you haven't learned that you got to get in there,
Well, here you are. You're still talking.
talk, Todd.
So for me,
I'll mute myself.
one, I don't depend on reselling for my livelihood. So if I got stuff in the death pile that's valuable, I'm not going to offload it to somebody else. I want the money from it. So it can just sit there until I get to it. If it's 3 years from now, it's 3 years from now. So I know that flies in the face of every reseller preacher type, because the whole philosophy is turn and burn. I mean, you got to get this stuff in, get it out, go, go, go. I'm like, I'll get to it when I get to it, young punks. But I don't depend on reselling for my livelihood. It's not my main income. So there's that. And then I'm kind of a tinkerer at heart. I like getting stuff and see if I can put it back together or test it, and when something goes out of here, I want it clean, so I'll spend extra time cleaning that a lot of people wouldn't.
Right.
So yeah, but if and I have enough money that if I see a deal, I'm going to go buy it. So, if I see something worth $1,000 and they want $100 for it, I'm going to give them $100. Here you go. And it may sit over there for 3 years, but it's mine now. It's worth $1,000, and it can wait until I'm good and ready to get it listed. So that's kind of my philosophy. So no, I ain't going to offload any of my valuable stuff. No other punks need to get my get my wealth? That ain't it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Doug. You don't have to raise your hand.
And I
I
look
just,
at him. He's
that's
punching at the
so
bit.
nice doing that.
You
I just like,
idiot! You idiot! Get that stuff fixed and listed and out of here.
I just want to say, Todd, that sounds like the true gold standard in reselling, where it's just like, I got the cash for the sourcing that I need, I keep the stuff that I want, and I can pay the price I'm wanting to pay for it when I want to pay for it. Like, I think you have reached the true reseller, like, ultimate level, man. That is
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
Reach. I'm Reach.
Listen,
I got $5 million in my retirement account. I don't need to. I don't need to worry about where I'm going to get money to buy stuff with.
and
And
Doug, he's in Texas. That means he's got an well in his
there's a
backyard, and he
pumping
just goes
I'm in
away.
in there,
Texas too, and I'd rather
sets a
collect
bucket
money
down
than
there and pumps it.
objects.
He'll
I
pump a
can't.
5 gallon bucket full of oil, and
I
go down there.
can't. I can't spend the money faster than I can make it, man. I'm like,
Where's Gwen at?
oh, she can spend the money faster than I can. Never mind. I didn't say that out loud. Anyway,
Uh,
That reminds me of
uh,
one of my favorite expressions, and that is, I got enough money for the rest of my life as long as I die on Thursday.
yeah.
Oh man! Well,
So
y'all are a good time. I got a couple things to take care of. We're gonna do our little morning thingy in a little bit, but
right.
hey, thank y'all so much for letting me hop on here really quick. It's been a real good time.
And they will
Nice to meet
become.
you, Doug.
They will starting a show at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if y'all are not subscribed to his channel, be sure and subscribe to it. And
that's 9 o'clock real time.
no, that's
Central
fake time.
Central is where's that?
Look
Where's
at
that?
Bumcrack's
Yeah, that
comment,
link.
Todd.
I want a word in edgewise at Chatterbox.
Thanks, Bumcrack. He's
Oh,
backing me
man,
up.
that's so funny.
Okay. All right. We'll see you shortly, Doug, if you've got to go.
Yeah, y'all have a great rest
No,
of your morning. All right.
I'll
All
pop
right.
into your show for a little bit before I go out sourcing at 10.
Hey, if you want to, great. Otherwise, I don't want to slow you down. The whole point of it's just to help us get up and running in the morning. So appreciate
He's
y'all.
gonna.
Have a good one.
All
Oh,
right.
you're not going to slow me down. I'm already too slow.
Hey,
He's
man, you're already living the dream.
he's
Who can
already.
slow
He's
you
gonna
down
go see
now
his
for anything?
girlfriends.
Take care, everybody. Bye now.
All right. You too. Um,
What a perky guy.
he is. They seem to be really nice. Do you? So everybody has their own take of what's too much. Beth doesn't want to have too much because she don't have the space for it. Todd just he buys the deals and he's just when he's getting ready to list them, he will list them. And as long as as long as Gwen's not bitching at him too much, he's in good shape. Um, what do you want, Mr. Sadie? He's sucking up, Beth. You got some kind of vintage shirt he wants or something?
I don't think he wears a double D bathing suit or anything like that.
No,
um,
No, I don't. Mr. Sadie, I love you. He's so sweet. He is. He's just the sweetest.
he is a good guy. You know what? At least when he's around us. When he gets home, might be a. We need to get Mrs. Sadie on here one day and say, what's he like off camera, off the chat? What's he like?
Yeah. Do you have a bed like
you went garbly again.
washing machine and her AC went out yesterday?
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
I don't want to say I would yell, but I I I would be really upset.
I I can live without the wash machine because I can go to a laundromat. But those daggum people from the AC place that we use for all the time, they better get their butt out here and get that thing fixed, even if they have to bring a new unit.
They don't. And that's the worst.
Oh, I'm losing your audio, Beth, or is that just my end?
No, she's going and coming.
And we're having storms coming, so
Okay. Oh, fine. That means we'll get storms Saturday. Because we had storms
but we
yesterday.
don't need any more flooding here. Like my pool is all the way up to the top right now. But
You know, Mr. Sadie, I never have because I went from my mother's house to an apartment to a clothes dryer. But my mom, I remember growing up, my mom hanging clothes on a line to dry. Because when we got so old enough that we could reach the clothesline, she would give us a basket and tell us to go take in the clothes. Yeah, they do smell good, Anissa. But, you know, it's just so easy to go from this to this, from the washer to the dryer. They're side by side, front load. It's just too easy to do that. And we
hey,
have
Tom, I changed
squirrels.
my microphone. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Oh, your sound wasn't bad before, but then it would just completely go garbly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Mr. Kent. Yes, Kent. The Freon is real expensive, especially if your system is one that uses the old stuff. Because if they can't find the Freon, they don't have the Freon, then they have to like pump out all the Freon that's in your system now and reload it and all that kind of mess. So it gets real expensive. But I'm old. I'm fat. It's going to be on about 66 degrees in this house. Yeah, and there's a we. My mom lives down 30 minutes away from us. So if the power goes off during the summer, I'll stay at the house and I send Roberta to my mom's house where she's got AC. And since she pulls a cool tactical, see, you talking about Beth's pool that's running over. Todd, how about your pool? Y'all have been getting a lot of rain too.
yeah, but I run the backwash on the filter enough times to it keeps the pool from overflowing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Beth, you're in Houston, right? Or thereabouts?
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean
reading in the
we'll
paper.
get an inch and a half of rain, and Beth will get like 3.5 inches from the same system, going through because Houston is a whole lot more humid, being close to the Texas Gulf.
And we have a lot more concrete, so we're going to get more flooding.
Yeah. Well, that's like
Yeah.
around here. People, when they bought their house, was not in they were not in a flood zone. But now, because they've built 485 and they've built all these houses, now they're in a flood zone, and
Mhm.
there's some underlying lawsuits being threatened because the city has allowed this stuff to happen, and it's causing the property to be devalued because it's in a floodplain, and they keep raising our property taxes. Like our property taxes went up a third. But reason I was asking about Houston, but it's Galveston is where it was at. They had a barge hit a bridge.
Yeah, we used to fish on that bridge when I was little. Um, and there's really no one living on the other side. It's Pelican Island. You fish over there, and there's a what do you call it, submarine over there that you can go and walk through and stuff. But I don't think there's anybody living over there because I was like, how are the people going to get back?
Right.
They've closed it. But yeah, my dad called me yesterday and he goes, our bridge, it got hit. I was like, yeah, but it's
A
getting.
friend of
I
mine
don't.
lives.
I'm getting to where I don't even like driving over bridges anymore over water. I'm scared because of all these bridges that keep getting
Getting
hit.
hit.
Yeah, just
I,
another phobia to add to all my other phobias, and
I have a cousin that
another
lives near.
OCD issue, right?
I have a cousin that lives near Edisto Island in South Carolina,
Hmm.
and going from where he works to his house is like 30 minutes. They had a problem with the bridge, and they closed the bridge for about 2 months, and it took him an hour and a half to get to work every day because he had to go damn near to Savannah before and come around back to where he worked or to his house. Anissa, you have enough. You have enough phobias. You just need to not be adding any more.
Yeah, Anissa and I are always up at the same time at night. We decide maybe we should call each other like 2 in the morning because we're both awake, thinking about something. So, yeah.
You lived in League City, about 20 minutes north of, or minutes from Galveston.
I love League City. It's a cute little town. I used to go over there once a year, take my kids to the one-room schoolhouse there. That's where Thrifty Treasures lives. Can't think of her name right now, her first name. The one with the liver transplant.
Tanya.
Tanya, that's where she lives, I think, or she used to.
You have a brother-in-law that won't get in the shower if the walls are wet.
We won't even talk about all my things over here that my wife has to put up with.
If the walls are wet,
Yeah.
oh, that's what happens in the shower.
I can totally get that, and I'm not going to say any more. So.
That's weird.
Oh, Lord. So back to my original conversation. What seems to be the biggest thing about these people, I'm not including Beth because Beth doesn't have a debt pile or back stock. What's the biggest reason that you have a lot of back stock? Todd's is he just has.
Todd doesn't like to collect money. He likes to collect things.
Yeah.
No,
And I'm
that's
just
wrong.
lazy and hadn't done it.
I just can't let a deal go by.
But you know what, Todd? If something was to happen to you right now, as somebody said in the chat somewhere, Todd's creating his own estate sale.
And that's fine. It doesn't matter what.
Are your boys going to try to get maximum dollar out of it, or is some shyster eBay seller going to come up to him and say, "Hey, I'll give you $1 for that"?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I educated those boys.
Oh, have you?
Their college is paid for. They can, I'm not worried about them. So, I don't care. They can just pile it in the front yard and light a match to it. When I'm dead and gone, what do I care?
I hear you. Mr. Sadie says, you seem like the Candle guy, Lag. Candle made me think, I first read it, I thought he said Crayola. I had a person message me yesterday, I sold some stuff to him before, and he was looking for a flesh-colored crayon. And I'm like, no, I don't have any crayons. What's so special about flesh-colored crayons? And he said, because they haven't made them in like 20 years. And it says that's the color, flesh. It's now like peach is what the color is now. And I said, so is there a reason why you are wanting it? And he's like, yeah, I want to, I'll have a complete set from like the 65 of unused crayons. And me being the nosy person that I am, I'm like, why are you collecting crayons? And he says, I have all kinds of stuff from when I was a kid that's in like new condition. So,
I mean, I was born in 62, and I don't ever remember a crayon saying flesh on it.
So apparently there's a bunch of them that they have rebranded. So, just saying, if you're at a yard sale and you see some old looking crayons, from Nana's house and whatnot, and they're cheap, you might pick them up. Because, like I said, there's a bunch of them that they renamed because they're just not.
So would flesh colored nowadays be like not politically correct?
I think that's one of the reasons it was done away with, because it's not PC. I mean, you know,
I mean, did is Crayola now like worried about what people think about the color names or something?
I guess. I don't know. I don't have time. I'm old. My days on this planet are limited. I'm not really worrying a whole hell of a lot about um, that kind of stuff anymore. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Anyway,
But
I'm just
anyway, like I said, I mean, who would have thought? And we were messaging back and forth. He was like, "There's people that are serious about this." He says, "I only kind of play at it." He said, "There are some people that are really serious about collecting the old crayons, and they used to make. I remember them as a kid. They made just like they made the pencils. They had like the kid pencils for kids that could really write, and then for like first grade, they had the big ones that was about the size of a
God,
quarter, nickel.
those are
They made
jumbo
crayons
pencils.
like that from that same time period. The big crayons like that. So anyhow, that's just something to be on the lookout.
all right. I'm gonna go look for flesh colored crayons at the Lutherans today.
Okay. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. Y'all go over and see Major Win! Exclamation point. Thank you, Beth, for coming in here. You know you're always welcome to come in.
I
Any of
know.
y'all can come in. Like you don't need if you want to use a voice changer and come in and not have your camera on. That's fine, dude.
Can I just promote that June 3rd, Maggie and I are having our tag talk. It's the second part of
Oh,
our series.
I
Okay.
knew
So
something was wrong
y'all
with
stay tuned for
John.
that. We're doing photography of clothes, and she's also going to do photography for media as well.
Oh, cool.
So, but we'll be talking about photography for clothes and our processes. So,
Look at that, John. I knew something was wrong with him. He's saying he's a Lutheran. That puts him into the devil's court.
mhm. Y'all have a great day. I just
Okay.
sold something. I got to go ship it real
Beth,
quick.
when y'all,
All right.
What did you say, Tom?
I'm gonna try and create a calendar for the show
Mhm.
for things like that. So remind me so I can add it to the calendar
Okay, sure will.
so people can stay on top of stuff like that.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you all for coming in, Todd. Thank you as always. You're
Yep.
just wonderful. Have a great time at your
I am.
girlfriend's house.
I'm a
Beth, thank you
lovely.
very
I'm a
much.
lovely person.
Trying to figure out how to leave this room.
Just close the screen.
Just hit
Okay.
the X at the top.
Different
Yeah.
than StreamYard. I'm sitting there like, how the heck do I get out of here?
All right.
Everybody in
Bye.
the chat, have a great day. Bye.